Hello everybody, hope you're having a good day. Well, some news has just come out of Essendon. Dean Solomon is stepping down as a director, but he will be staying with the club in a different role. He will be an assistant coach. He will be in charge of the backline and team defence, which is an area that we do sorely need. And I thought this was interesting news because Dean Solomon and Andrew Welsh are pretty close, I think. And Dean Solomon, of course, was behind that email that got sent out to various members of Essendon asking for unity. If you do remember, there was rumours at the time that there was going to be a board spill and that there were factions that were going to take over the club and all this sort of thing. It never happened. And Dean Solomon was the one behind the email asking for unity. And of course, it looks like we've got that unity. Everyone now seems to be, behind the new regime, which is good. So Dean has been put in charge of the backline, basically. So I thought this was interesting. Obviously, we did need another assistant coach, given that Gian Siracusa has left. I'm keen to see if there'll be any more changes to the assistant coach structure after this, because the club did state when Gian Siracusa left that they were going to evaluate or reevaluate the structure of the club from that point of view. Now, I would potentially think there'll be some other moves around. If you have a look at our assistant coaches, we've got Brent Stanton, who is the current coach for stoppages. We've got Ben Jacobs, who is the assistant coach for defence. Let's call it defence, which Dean Solomon looks like he will now be in charge of. We've got Cam Roberts, who's the assistant coach of the forwards. David Rath, who's the coaching innovations and game strategy manager. You've got Travis Cloak, and you have got Michael Hurley, both as development coaches. So there'll probably be a bit of restructuring in there. Interesting to see what Ben Jacobs' role will now be, or whether he will still be at the club. I presume he will be. We don't know, but it just I do remember the club saying, a few weeks ago when Gian Siracusa left, that there will be some. They'll be reevaluating things there. So I thought that's interesting news there. Dean Solomon, he will be joining the club. So the actual quote from Andrew Welsh is as follows. He said, Andrew, when looking to fill the vacant position within our coaching team, Brad, Scott, Craig Vozzo, Daniel McPherson and I were considering who was out there and the best available talent across the industry. When it was first raised to me about Solly joining the coaching group, it made me consider what the best use for him at the club was. He has been invaluable to us on the board, but taking into account everyone's views, it was clear that it was an opportunity that we couldn't pass up, and that's when we first approached Solly about the role. Solly needed to take a lot into consideration, including relocating from New South Wales, but after careful thought, he embraced the opportunity, and we were rapt that he has accepted this role as assistant coach to get back into the trenches and help fast-track the development of the team. A process is already underway to fill Dean's vacant board position, with that person having a football background to ensure we still maintain football expertise at board level. We expect to make an announcement on the new director in coming weeks. So that is the news regarding Dean Solomon. He's obviously a very respected player. I don't know whether he'll be a good coach. These moves are all pretty popular. They're good for the optics. Dean was a very, very popular player back in the late 90s and early 2000s when we were dominant. All the fans loved him, so I suspect this will be. I suspect he'll probably be good in the role as defensive coach, but we do need help in that area. I'm just adding this little bit of narration in now because after I uploaded the video, in my haste, I forgot to mention, of course, that he did coach the Gold Coast Suns as an assistant coach for 6 years. I think he actually took over right at the end as a senior coach for a couple of games when Stuart Dew got sacked. He coached for a year at Fremantle, and of course he coached as well at GWS for a short time in 2022. So he does have 7 or 8 years of assistant coach experience at his helm, and let's hope he can perform at the Bombers. I remember Bomber Thompson 10 years ago, maybe longer than 10 years ago, around the time of the drug saga, and Bomber was like, when are we going to learn how to defend? When are we going to learn how to defend? And he was trying his best, Bomber, to get it right, but we still haven't quite been able to get it right. And I think we do need to recruit specific types of players, including players that are good at two-way running. I think I've always mentioned to some of the gun GWS players, Brent Daniels and players like that, who are really good at both defensive and offensive sides of the game, the two-way running parts of the game. That's something that I don't think we've been particularly good at. I don't know whether it's a coaching thing, I don't know whether it's a culture or development thing, or just whether we haven't got the right players to pull it off. But be that as it may, one way or the other, he's going to be coaching the club next year. And I'm very, very interested to see now what happens to the rest of the coaching group, how it is structured, whether anyone is moved on, whether we look to recruit other people from other clubs. But Dean Solomon will be at the club as an assistant coach, looking after the defence in 2026. So I'm going to leave it there. Please like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I'd like to push up that subscriber count. I do try to get these videos out as quick as I can to give you the most up-to-date Essendon information that's out there and to give you my views on it. So I'd appreciate it if you haven't subscribed. Please do that. I'm going to leave it there. Have a great day. And as always, go Bombers.